All right, guys, happy asynchronous Wednesday. So I'm going to go over what we're going to be doing today for asynchronous Wednesday. So this is AIM 5.4, and the aim here is who really won day one of the Battle of the Somme. So what are we doing today? What we're doing today is we're going to take a look at a bunch of different documents that speak to this question. Who really won day one of the Battle of the Somme? And we're going to look at source reliability. That's really what we're focused on. So basically, we're going to hear three different versions of the same story that all address this question: who won the Battle of the Somme, day one? And the idea here is that we critically evaluate these sources for reliability so that we can start to think about who we should believe and who we shouldn't, who's a reliable source and who isn't, what makes a source reliable, and things of this nature. So that's really the linchpin of what we're working on today. And the other thing we're going to take a look at today is some of the new technology that's introduced throughout the course of World War I. So I'm going to go through these notes real quick. If you need to pause to get it down, you could pause. But other than that, I'm going to kind of cruise through this. So here we go. So new technology during World War I. If you're asked a question about World War I on a Regents exam, chances are you're going to be asked about the causes, the effects or impacts, and or the technology. Those are really the three big topics of discussion around this unit. So new technology that's introduced during World War I is the machine gun, airplane, dynamite tanks, submarines, chemical weapons. The list goes on. Mines and mortars, barbed wire is another huge one, etc. So all this new technology kind of makes killing more efficient and quicker, and this leads to kind of drastic increase in death toll as a result of warfare that is conducted with this new technology, right? So the other thing we're going to mention is that World War I, what style of warfare is being practiced here, and it's really what's called trench warfare. And this is where troops will dig trenches in the countryside, essentially, to protect themselves from the battlefield. So they dig these big deep trenches, and they stand inside there, and they kind of peer out over the top occasionally, trying to see who's coming and what's going on. Both sides are doing that. So that's how the war is being fought. It's kind of periods of sitting and waiting and watching, and intermittently, one side or the other will try to make a run at the other side, and it kind of gets ugly real quick. So more than anything else, trench warfare results in what's called a war of attrition, which is this idea that people are just dying and resources are being used over and over and over, and we're just resupplying the people and resupplying the resources for war, and no one's really making any progress. It's just both sides killing each other. War of attrition. And it is the new technology and this strategy, this trench warfare, that results in this condition. Conditions in trenches were horrible. So I'm going to show you some kind of ugly pictures. So brace yourselves. This one not so ugly, but this is what a trench would look like, right? So this is an actual photograph of a World War I trench for the British in the year 1916. So you can see they dug this giant, trench in the ground. What is it, 10 or 12 feet deep, probably, right? Reinforced, etc. So this is like a major kind of undertaking. This is something that they plan on spending some time in for quite some time. So you can see this soldier here kind of getting ready to peer over the edge, over the top, and try to see what's going on. The other thing to mention here is you got a bunch of bodies lying around here too, right? You got a guy slumped over here. You got this guy over here, this guy over there. It's not looking so great in here. So pretty gross. All right, here's the gross pictures. If it rains and you're standing in a trench with rainwater up to your shins for long periods of time, the result is what's called trench foot, which is what you're seeing here, which is basically your flesh rotting directly off of your body while it's still attached to you. So we mentioned that there's all kinds of corpses and disgusting things in these trenches. Now let's add 2 feet of water and see what happens. All the germs and bacteria that are going to be kind of sitting in that water are going to do this to your limbs. It's pretty gross. Later on in the war, medics and countries in general start to realize that hygiene in these trenches is paramount. So they start paying closer attention to their hygiene and their kind of self-care in these trenches to kind of mitigate a lot of these conditions, but pretty gross. So we said what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what's called the Battle of the Somme. The Battle of the Somme lasts over 4 months, and after it's all said and done, this particular battle will kind of end up with 1.2 million casualties. So that's quite a lot. So what we're looking at here is this site up here in northern France, kind of right along the river here. You can see it up here. I think it's denoted with the number, 6, I think, or something like that. So that's the battle that we're looking at. So what you guys are going to do today is you're going to take a look at a couple of different things, okay? You're going to look at 3 different documents here that kind of go over different perspectives of who won the first day of the Battle of the Somme. So this is an excerpt from an English newspaper, okay? So this is, something written by a soldier who fought in that battle. Okay, this is written by another soldier who fought in that battle, only it's for the other side. So we have a lot of different kind of perspectives on the same event, and that's really what we're talking about. So for each of these documents, you're just going to make a note of kind of who wrote this document and what was their role or job here. So were they a soldier? Were they a newspaper reporter, right? According to this author, who won the first day of the battle and how can you tell? Some of these documents don't come out straight away and say the British won the first day or the Germans won the first day. But based on what you're reading, how do you think they feel? The writer. How do you think the writer feels about it? Who do you think they think won? Okay, and how can you tell? And then really it's about what makes this source reliable, what makes this unreliable. If if one of the perspectives we said is of a British soldier, what makes that a reliable source of information and what makes that an unreliable source of information. So yeah, he fought and he was there, but he's only on, he's looking at it from one side, right? So kind of dive into that and try to think about what makes each of these sources reliable and unreliable in their own right. And then after you're done with this kind of graphic organizer, we don't need a lot of information in these boxes, right? There's just an exit slip here saying basically, based on your evaluation of these resources, who do you think won the first day of the battle, Britain or Germany? And then I ask you to explain your choice. So seems pretty easy enough. So that is your asynchronous assignment for today. So make sure you turn it in by midnight tonight for attendance purposes, right? You have to turn it in by midnight so you're counted as present for attendance. So make sure you guys are on top of that. I do have office hours today, so check the stream page for a link to office hours if you need it. You can stop by and ask any questions about any work that you're working on currently or is past due, or you have any other kind of questions about the class or anything like that. You could always swing by and I can help you out, all right? So I'll see you during virtual office hours, and if not, I'll see you guys back here again whenever we have class again. Are we going to have class tomorrow, Thursday? I don't know. We're supposed to get a foot of snow tonight, so who's to say? But if we have school Thursday, I'll see you then. If not, I'll see you guys back here on Friday. Have a good one.